This is the four-wheel drive, Cosworth powered, DJM built Ford KA. So this was built 24 years ago, 2001, by the legendary company DJM Motorsport. I said this is wild for me, because I say it's that, I said to you earlier on, going in the cars you used to look at back in the day.
Nostalgic, yeah?
Yeah, it is very nostalgic. She's everything I hoped it could be. The noise, everything.
It's definitely noisy.
Not built for comfort. This
once
thing,
it gets on boost.
And to say, like you say, 24 years of being built, it's still
solid.
Still solid. I don't know what it is. I've been in hundreds of 300 horsepower cars. This does not feel 300 horsepower. Throwing this around being quite a joy. You can even just like I said, we're only going around. He's planted, he wants to go in. That's simple, isn't it? Yeah. This does not disappoint. This is everything I hoped it would be, this thing. It really is. See why everyone gets in it and goes, the Mega.
It's great fun, honest.
This blows my socks off. It is millimetre clearance on everything to squeeze this YB Cosworth engine in this KA engine bay. And they've not put the radiators in the boot, they've put the intercooler at the front. It's actually transverse, which I think makes it look more peculiar because we're used to this engine being obviously longitudinal in the engine bays because obviously they're in Cosies. It's fast, it's agile, it's not a fragile thing that was built 20 years ago. Yeah, what a piece of engineering this is. And it's having no issues. Specialist, it's like I said a minute ago, it's everything I wanted it to be. Because when people are saying rave about it, it's this good, it's that good, people are going in and saying it's iconic. Because if you read the car and car conversion article, the guy says there's not many cars that have been special to him, and this was one of them. Yeah. I can see why. it's agile, it's fast.
Best car in the world for me, like.
It's wonderful. Wonderful, love it, mate. Love it. So I've been able to get it on the ramp because I've been dying to see under this, to see how it was done, to basically have a closer look, because this is something special. So first looks on the ramp, you can already see the front subframe adaptation. This car was actually banned from rallying because of the subframes. They kind of brought in a rule where it weren't allowed. So then you've obviously got the radiator package, the intercooler, as I say, but let's dive underneath. So you've obviously got this huge skid pan, because obviously it was built for rallying. But then if we move over to the wheel area, you can see full custom bottom arms, aluminium billet uprights, very high-end special suspension settings. And then you can see here where you've got the bolt-in subframe, which bolts in 3 places, comes along for obviously all the bottom arm adaptations and all these little brackets that are coming off. Anti-roll bar, which runs here. It is lovely. And then as you work back, you can see the original chassis rails for the KA. The tunnel's been cut out for what I believe to be a Sierra prop shaft, all up out the way, because if you look, it's quite level with the floor, so it can do the rallying, so it's got some ground clearance. And then you move back to this full custom rear end. Let me go around the back so the light's better. There we go. Look at that. You've obviously got these massive arms. You've got these steel uprights, which have been custom made, but then you've got this box section kind of subframe, which actually holds the Sierra Cosworth or Sapphire Cosworth diff. Look at how insane it is under here. It is a feat of engineering to make this 4-wheel drive. So this car's built on a subframe that they've built.
Yeah.
Is it a subframe as in you can drop that with the engine?
No.
Right. Do you drop that and it gives clearance?
Aye, I think that's the way it works, yeah.
Right, okay.
It's not really done a great deal in 3 years, if I'm honest.
But saying that, looking at the specs of what I've obviously researched that I remember, it's as it was 24 years ago. It's still the same stuff that was on then that it is now.
I think the only thing that changed when they initially built it, they wanted a 6-speed manual, so they actually made an external reverse gear. So they took the gate away from 5th to 6th so they could use the reverse as a 6th gear, but then there was a second gear lever to put it into reverse. So technically you could have put it into 2 gears at once.
Really?
But that was actually removed prior to me getting the car, which I'm glad about, if I'm honest.
So what's the gearbox in it now then? Because I read it was an Evo 5.
Evo 5 box.
So it's still a 5 box,
yeah.
Right. So grab the camera. Let's have a look at this tight squeeze under this engine bay. Now, when I say close, I mean close. Like I say, the little notch out just to clear the timing belt cover. Everything is millimetre perfect in here. There is no room for error, there's no room for engine rock. But what is super cool that you sometimes can't see because of all the tube work is, look at all the framework which goes on here, there and everywhere. It is tied in the works. It is so nicely built, even to the point of, like I say, all the aluminium header tanks are perfect. You can see the cross brace there, the individual brake pots, the giant turbo. It is so close under that engine bay. These shells were brand new from Ford, and that there is DJ KA01. That there is actually the chassis number for this car, because DJM went to Ford, bought some brand new KAs and started to build this thing. So this car actually has some connections to the legendary rally driver Colin McRae. So anyone who follows Colin McRae will know later in his career he was getting a bit fed up, so they say, of driver aids and, you know, traction controls and anti-lags and this and everything else, and he wanted to basically get into something a bit more analog, something a bit more kind of budget, let's say, and something a bit more enjoyable to drive. So he went on to basically design his own car, which was actually called the mcrae R4. So how that came about was, DJM Motorsport was building the Mark II Escort for Colin. He saw potentially one, maybe both of these. I would surmise he went out and drove them, really liked them, thought they were fantastic, and then they went on to obviously do the R4. And if you look at the R4, it is actually based on a Ford KA. Kind of the same subframe setups, different back end, but definitely the A and B post is from a Ford KA. So interesting facts about this thing are, there is around 1,200 hours in building these cars. There's around 700 hours in just constructing the body panels. And another interesting fact is, obviously, there was 2 cars built. They are both slightly different in their own ways, because obviously one was for forest and one was for tarmac. They built a sister car which was the forest setup, and they built this one which was the tarmac setup. Some slight differences between the two. The actual body kit was designed by the wife of DJM Motorsport. All the flared arches, and I've got to say, this is one of the most aggressive Ford KAs I have ever seen. I've waited 20 plus years to physically come and see it and get in it. It has not disappointed. And if DJM watch this, fantastic work. To say it's been done 24 years, it is brilliant. So I'll sign this video off, guys. I hope you enjoyed that, because I certainly did, and I'll see you all on the next video.